Pakistan has condemned the U.S. drone strike that killed 2 people in the country's tribal region near the Afghan border. Pakistan's Foreign Office said the raid targeted an Afghan refugee camp in the northwestern Kuram region. Local officials say those killed in the raid belong to the Taliban-affiliated Haqqani militant group. U.S.'s frequent drone strikes in countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan have killed many civilians over the past years. Tensions have been on the rise between Washington and Islamabad ever since U.S. President Donald Trump accused Pakistan of harboring terror groups. Islamabad has denied the allegation. Sayyid Mohsin Abbas is a journalist and political commentator who joins us from London. Well, given the heightened tensions that exist between the two countries at this point, are we looking at Pakistan retaliating now, like in instances where, like this incident where there was a drone strike?
Well, I think that the relations have deteriorated. For a very long time, the writing's been on the wall that the interests of Pakistan are not necessarily the interests of the United States. And there's been this, situation where General Zia, when he agreed to the U.S. Ability to come into the region in order to get Russia out of Afghanistan, I think that relationship ultimately has to come to an end, because the results for Pakistan have been disastrous. The heroin trade, the U.S. Arms kind of supplies into Afghanistan, all of this has been going on. The drone strikes are the ultimate sticking point of all of that policy. But you see, Pakistan receives millions of dollars of U.S. aid in terms of military, and that's what ties the military up to the Americans. And it's this aid which is the issue. Pakistan has to really ultimately become self-sufficient, independent, and move away from this very harmful relationship with U.S. aid.
Do you think that if this aid would stop, that ultimately Pakistan would be swayed towards China? And also in retaliation, what would Pakistan do if the U.S. keeps irking it?
Well, obviously the Chinese are behind the largest highway, which is running from China now to the Gwadar port. Gwadar is the only deep water port in that region. And therefore, strategically, in terms of trade, China is very efficiently creating its own depots. And I think the Americans are obviously upset about this relationship between Pakistan and China. So that's one thing for sure. The other thing, of course, is that the Taliban in Afghanistan are effectively an insurance policy for Pakistan and its military to prevent India becoming if you like, a proxy power in Afghanistan, because the Indians are pumping in billions of dollars of soft power aid into Afghanistan, and the Afghan government, backed by the Americans, actually wants the Indians to have the prominent role within Afghanistan if and when America actually decides to leave. This is quite clear, and the Pakistanis are obviously not going to allow this to happen, or they certainly will do everything they can to prevent it. As a result, the Americans, in my opinion, have actually also financed the usual suspects. So the Taliban, or rather the ISIS and the Afghani Taliban, who are actually making incursions into Pakistani territory, blowing up things in Balochistan, causing trouble generally across Pakistan for Shia communities in particular, and actually killing people. That is an operation which I think is being used as a double policy by the CIA and by intelligence services. So we've got a very complicated set of relationships going on between Pakistan and America, which over the next year or so, I think will reach a culmination. In the end, Pakistan is going to have to make a decision. Do they want U.S. aid in terms of military aid, or do they want their independence? Because if they carry on with the U.S. aid, I believe that ultimately the Americans will create so much problems within Pakistan, their ultimate objective will be, along with India, to divide it, to break it up.
Thank you for that, Sayyid Mohsin Abbas, journalist and political commentator from London.